What this has shown us today, and is highlighted again, is that you don't need a big food system. The abundance is right here. We have the tiniest patch here. We've just harvested over 40 kilograms of food. There's another 10 in the tree. 50 kilograms of food here with zero effort on the tiniest little patch, because it's indigenous and it's happy and it's growing where it's meant to grow. And you can't tell me then we can't feed the world. You can't. Don't even try. Not that this was a COVID related leave nature alone, like in Venice and the dolphins swim up the channels or canals. More just a case of us not getting to this part of the property. If you see here, here's the container, which we're going to start working on soon. You will remember from another post that we're doing a shipping container tiny house conversion. It's going to go double story. It's really cool. So I was actually just here clearing the space, finally. Neglected this area completely since we last had the sheep in this space. And lo and behold, I stumble across what I thought was one cucumber. Assess the situation. So yes, horned cucumber, amazing. But I had not quite recognized the extent of the abundantness. Quite incredible. So I'm going to show you now this plant, which I had initially misidentified as a weed and was brush cutting, and it's why I'm in this area. It's all horned cucumber. There is so much food here. How it got here and started, I'm not entirely sure. I did have the sheep here at one point, and I'm just wondering now whether somewhere along the line it got into their food and then out here and with their fertilizers just gone absolutely mad. But when I say abundance, check this out. And you'll just find, look, there's another two. Massive. Massive. Look, just pull this stuff back. Look. There's another one. There. And
should I get a bag?
We should get a bag. And then we're going to have way too much to eat. We're going to have to... Look at this.
Amazing.
Check down here. It's endless.
God, look, there's 2, 4, 6, 7 out here.
I see another one over there, look.
Yeah. Is it a big one?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.5 bags.
Oh wait, but there's more.
But there's more. So just found another one, another African horned cucumber plant creeping up this tree. We just had a discussion around how maybe they're thriving here because they're running along the ground, where in the past we've tried to creep them or coach them up trees or up structures. And we just came to the conclusion or thought that perhaps maybe they like to run more on the ground. And that's why these ones are doing so well. But nature again has just shown me how little I know. Check this out. Check this big one just hanging here. I don't know if you've had African horned cucumber before, but it is spiky, a little bit difficult to handle at times. They've got real sort of the needle end of the spike. You can roll it out, and then once that's off, then it's fine. You skin it, and it's very much like the traditional cucumber you buy from the supermarket. It's watery, it's juicy, refreshing, awesome in salads, and they're quite phenomenal. And just obviously that they grow naturally. They're African, they're indigenous, and clearly they're happy growing in Africa. And it does talk to indigenous foods. It does talk to the need for us to go back to growing things that are geographically appropriate, that work for that climate, work for that environment, work for even that microenvironment. So learning what plants grow where and where they're happiest and thrive is part of the journey, is part of what we're trying to work out as we go. But to shorten that learning curve, or to bring that curve down, you can start with indigenous plants because they are adapted to the local climate and environment, and you have a high probability of success. And that leads me on to the slow food movement. And there's a great crowd started in Italy called Slow Food, and they've got I guess it's a preserving heritage and food variety and indigenous varieties sort of movement. There's things like African rainbow maize and other amazing varieties that we're on the brink of losing, that are going to go extinct, if not some already. It's our duty to kind of preserve those, and that's in that diversity that we're going to get the nutritional value that we require. You know, the monocropped corn culture that we currently have in South Africa doesn't bring us any level of food security. At the moment, we have one big cornfield in this country, and it's GMO maize, and it has no real nutritional value. And it's not going to feed our nation. And in times of lockdown and this COVID virus, it becomes very apparent that food security, we're not nearly where we should be with regard to food security. And I guess this is what a lot of countries and a lot of governments are waking up to, is that, you know, if you've become, maybe you're in a Central American country and you're in the great climatic zone to grow coffee, and you've exclusively gone down that road, and it's worked for you because the world has bought your coffee and it's driven your economy. But in these times, it suddenly becomes very clear that that's not going to sustain your population. That's not going to keep your people alive. You can't survive on coffee beans alone. And so diversity is what we should be looking towards, and utilizing indigenous plants in a way where you create variety and there's interconnectedness between what you're growing, creates resilience, true resilience. In these times when you suddenly can't ship food halfway around the world, you realize how fragile your food system is. And what this has shown us today, and is highlighted again, is that you don't need a big food system. Rocky, say that again. What are these?
Cucumbers.
Yes, African horned cucumbers. What? Look how many! I mean, this is just redonk. Check it out. All just hanging here in the tree. Hey? So this one starts down here, creeped its way up the tree here, and then you think, well, how could it support these large cucumbers? I mean, they're heavy. Those 4 bags we've already harvested must weigh like 10 kgs each, 40 kgs of cucumber we've probably harvested. But check this out. These guys are growing and hanging in the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, there's probably another 20 here hanging in the tree. Check this out. And it's amazing.